Welcome to another installment of Weird Anime Bullshit. We kind of did one of these back a few months ago when we covered our first love monster, though I didn't have a name for it back then. And we're kind of doing one now with one of the seasonal animes called HXEros. HXEros. It's heroes with an X in the middle, or right after the H. And it's supposed to kind of highlight the arrows part of it. Now, I'm not a person that is necessarily opposed to ecchi anime. I kind of know what I'm getting myself into whenever I go into it, and I'm kind of like expecting it. I'm not one of those moralists that feel that weird, ecchi, horny anime is bad, or I'm above it. Like, I sometimes put myself through the ringer once in a while. And that's exactly what I did this time around when I came across Eros, because the description for the show says something like they'll fight aliens with or without their clothes on, or something like that. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So I played it, and this is kind of what we got here.
Akino's changed forever, and it's all because of you! Now, die!
Okay, that's alright. I don't really get why his clothes are disintegrated when he punches an alien, but okay, I'm here. And then it's explained when he's talking to, I guess, his commanding officer or whatever, that clothes disintegrate because of the power of horniness. I'm like, alright, for sure.
The HXEro gear converts the user's erotic energy and turns it into raw power.
And all of this is fine. It's schlocky, like Super Sentai-esque fun, I guess. And as long as an ecchi anime can be fun, I'm there. I'm for it. Like, I can suspend my disbelief when watching these shows because I know that it's just supposed to be schlocky fun. It's the same reason that all of these people can go watch the Fast and the Furious time after time after time again. But what made this show so interesting that I wanted to actually talk about it was because this Super Sentai hero fighting aliens thing didn't really come in until maybe about the 7 to 12 minute mark of the show. It wasn't until like the latter half. The first few introductory minutes of the show had like this weird romance between the main character and the heroine, where she's like very standoffish. She has like this I don't want anything to do with men attitude, and like the main character, he has a connection with the main girl, and that immediately kind of stood out to me as like, it's not like they're meeting for the first time. They already have a history together. It's just that they've become disconnected since becoming teenagers, since their childhood. Like, there is some type of traumatic moment that occurred where this girl closed herself off from her childhood friend and, I guess, the male gender entirely. And so, like, the first few minutes of the show, he is time and time again trying to reconnect with the girl. And so I'm like, okay, well that's pretty interesting. He's gonna go fight aliens with his clothes off, and he's going to try and reconnect with this girl. Like, it almost felt like these were two different shows that somehow got blended together. But I think that that's kind of what made like this first episode very interesting. Because I really wanted to know what this traumatic experience was. And so there's a moment where he's going to confess his feelings for her. He's so close to saying, I'm still in love with you. And then this alien bug monster shows up and derails like whatever this first show was, and then was like, now we're about naked superheroes. It's almost jolting. It's almost like a bit of Whiplash. Seeing these two shows kind of collide with each other. But when this bug monster shows up and like the two have to kind of put aside their differences after this girl was like wanting nothing to do with him, she like starts holding his hand, and I guess like this is kind of like the first moment that she's actually touching another boy's hand since they were kids, because it is shown in the beginning of the show, or in the beginning of the episode, that they used to hold hands all the time. And so she's getting a little bit squirmy, but I think it's just like at first it's almost as if like she is just realizing what she's doing. But when they're hiding from that bug monster, she's like continuing to squirm, and it's very apparent what is going on. I'm like, okay, alright. And so this is where the show kind of starts to show that it is not going to be that first show anymore. Like that Whiplash that we were that was between these two separate shows being combined is more or less starting to diminish, and like the true show's intentions is kind of rearing its ugly head. But it's like, okay, I'm cool. I'm with it. So this girl, she's squirmy. She's like very clearly wet from holding his hand, and she's continuing to be like, well, you know what? It's okay. We can keep doing it. And so she gets to the point where she, like, I guess, orgasms. That her clothes rip off, and the two of them fight this the bug monster into submission, or where they defeat that bug monster that was apparently stealing people's horniness. And I love this little detail about the show, because it means the whole reason that these aliens exist is to explain Japan's declining birth rate. These bug monsters have apparently invaded Earth, and they're taking people's horniness away and removing their sex drives. It's insane. But because this girl, she has this huge moment, or this huge urge from holding her childhood friend's hand, that they defeat the monster. And earlier in the show, when the main character is talking to his commanding officer, there is this conversation that's going on about wanting to find another member. Hey everybody, I'm coming at you from the editing bay. I just noticed right now, while editing this video, that there is a scene where they're actually showing off the 4 watches that have already been taken by the other members of the squad, and that there's only one left, and that's the other fighter that they're searching for. So the show actually did drop a hint. I just didn't catch it until I was actually editing. So this might kind of just make the rest of the argument for the video a little bit unnecessary, but nonetheless, I still think that they did imply that he was working by himself. So it sounds like this naked hero is working solo, and he's looking for another comrade or another person to fight alongside him. And so what the show seems to be setting up is that these two characters are going to be fighting side by side. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. A romance story between these two naked heroes. It sounds pretty fun. It sounds like something I could probably just kind of watch from time to time. And then the show ends, and almost like that, these two shows that I was talking about, it like morphs. And that first show that I was talking about, this romance show between this main character and the heroine who is dealing with trauma, like that show's gone. It's disappeared. Out from the woodwork come these 3 other girls who apparently now live with him, and they've recruited this girl, this naked girl, and she's going to live with them too, and they're going to fight alien monsters naked. It just became a harem. And now I'm like, okay, I was dangling, but I was trying my best to kind of play along. And then when it just became a harem, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then I sampled a little bit of episode 2, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. But we actually get the answer for why the girl is so traumatized in the beginning of the show. Like, the answer is actually revealed to us within the first episode. Like, it doesn't even become an aspect or a point of the show where they're going to explore. Like, they just give us flat out the reason why she's traumatized, and it's because apparently when they were kids, another bug monster appeared and attacked them. And so what I was thinking, what was the reason, was that this bug monster took the girl's sex drive from an early age, and so she wants nothing to do with men. But no. So the bug monster took her sex drive as a child, and apparently it did nothing for her, because apparently this girl has an insane amount of sex drive, something that the bug monster had never ever come across before, and it just embarrassed her to the point where she secluded herself and just hid away her sex drive and made a vow to never touch any men again, so that these feelings, these weird squirmy feelings that she feels inside, never surface again. And that is just about as strange as My First Love Monster, or whatever the name of that other show was. What a trip. What a joke. Unbelievable. And so no, I don't think I will be watching episode 2 forward. If I come across any more of these shows, I'll continue to make videos on these, because I think that these things are really fun to talk about. The weird anime that we come across. If you like this video, then consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment down below and maybe thumbs up. Let me know what you guys thought of HXEros. What did you guys think of this schlocky show? Like the whole kind of setup of the show. What did you guys think of, you know, maybe like this romance, this traumatized romance, and then like this Super Sentai fun fighting heroes thing? What did you guys think about all that? And what did you guys think about the harem revelation at the end of the show? Let me know down below, and we'll talk in the comments. Bye, ciao.